The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
All right, gang, it's time to span the globe for the constant variety in sports headlines. Here at the drill, we call it the 10-minute drill. Beef is playing gatekeeper in there, and
it's something I do. It's a role I relish, Jeff.
sure.
First and foremost, Jeff, because it affects us locally, mentioned in the local sports update, but yesterday, it's not a surprising announcement, but yesterday Major League Baseball informed all the minor league clubs that they wouldn't be providing any players for 2020, so the minor league baseball season officially went kaput yesterday.
Yeah, and look, you saw this one coming, and could they play minor league baseball? Probably, but not with fans. And in minor league baseball, playing without fans makes absolutely no sense. I give Ken Babby and the Shrimp organization a lot of credit. They've tried to keep that baseball park, the baseball grounds, they've tried to keep them relevant during what would be baseball season.
They've come up with events. They've done things.
That's correct. And so I'll give them credit for that. And I wonder if it would be a terrible idea, and I don't know the legalities of it, but what if there were some baseball games this year where you did something on the lawn and you put them on the big screen, like major league games? There may be still some other way to connect minor league to baseball. This actual announcement, though, Beef, I really feel it affects Major League Baseball as much or more than minor league baseball, because what it's going to do now is prospects who may have been given another season at AAA aren't now. They're going to be called up. There's an expanded roster. You can carry 30 active, but 60 total. So all those top prospects that would have been getting their at-bats and their opportunities in double or AAA, some of them even in single A, are getting put on the big league roster because you can't afford those guys to not have any work all year long. So it's going to make a difference at the major league level as well. And I kind of like it. You're going to get a sneak peek at some prospects that in some cases you may not see again for a couple of years.
Meanwhile, the NBA teams are going to report to their home sites today for a week or so of kind of mini camp before heading to Orlando.
How the Hawks doing? What time we
They're ready to go.
Okay.
The Hawks I believe, are going to be in the Big Three, so they're excited.
Nice.
Yeah, but Adam Silver was speaking yesterday and said that that they're moving ahead, but they said if there's a rash of COVID cases in Orlando, that they'll pull the plug on it.
Yeah, I don't look. You have to. This sounds like it's a health mandated statement, but I don't believe it is. I do believe they care about the health of their players. This is a competitive balance. You can only take so much. I mean, you can't take a team and then take 7 of their main guys off the team and that just be the end of it. That's not fair. I mean, part of you wants to just say you have to treat the virus as any other injury and just, sit out until you're healthy enough to play. And with the virus, that would mean healthy enough would mean, well, first of all, assuming that you're back physically, would be 2 negative tests in a row. Well, in a shortened season where you're sprinting to the finish line, that could be 2 or 3 weeks. That's a lot of time. And if you have a significant chunk of your roster in that situation, then I think most importantly, you got to get everybody healthy before you show up, right? If you can get everybody to the bubble without anyone testing positive, now that's not going to be the be-all, end-all. There's still going to be positive tests probably, but I don't know. I sure am going to hate it, though, if we do get things started and then immediately the storyline is always dominated by who's testing and what the health situation is for each league and each team.
What about the other thing Adam Silver said, which you've sort of alluded to in the past as well, that with no fans in attendance, things might get awfully TVMA during the NBA games, and Silver, to his point, said that they may have to institute some kind of tape delay with these games because of the on-court language and exchanges between the players.
Oh, yeah. It's I've rethought what I said earlier. Because I said earlier that, you have to do this, but no, you don't. You know what you need to do? You need to have 2 channels. You have the unfiltered channel, if you want to watch that and hear all the trash talk and the profanity and the NBA is afraid of the NBA, by the way, and don't kid yourself. They're not afraid of you hearing the F-bomb. That's not why this is happening. There's language that goes on in pro sports contests that in today's time are considered a lot more offensive than the F-bomb or a GD. Trust me on that one. This is covering up language that would be a lot worse received than your typical daily F-bomb. I'll just leave it at that. So even if they offered split channel, one with the, G rating and the other with MA, I don't think it's the concern for the outright profanity. There's some colloquial trash talking that goes on in the NBA that is perfectly acceptable between the players, but it won't be received well if it was heard by every ear in the country. I will just leave it at that.
From the NFL ranks, Jeff, we talked yesterday about the defensive end market and the how these guys aren't getting the deals they think they deserve. More news on that front, as Jadeveon Clowney says he expects to sign soon. We don't know for how many dollars. And now Chris Jones in Kansas City is basically threatening to hold out if he doesn't get that $20 million per year, saying, replying to a tweet on his ongoing negotiations with the Chiefs. He said, quote, "Or I won't play. Le'Veon Bell told me about this."
Yeah, that's a dumb play. Any young man out there, if you got a chance to make $20 million, $17 million, and you sit out an entire $17 million to try and get 20 moving forward, that's bad advice and a dumb move. I'm sorry. What amazes me about the franchise tag, problems is that this is a bargained bonus for the best players so that they don't get screwed and colluded against and held below their market value. The franchise tag tells the league, you're one of the best 5 in the league at your position. That's what your team thinks, at least, because they're paying you that way. What world does Yannick Ngakoue think he's better than a top 5 defensive end? I don't understand. Chris Jones has a better argument than Yannick Ngakoue. Shaq Barrett in Tampa has a better argument right now than Yannick Ngakoue. I don't mean to make this completely about Yannick, but at some point, Yannick, the franchise tag is serving you well, friend. And if you don't look around the league and see these other great players that aren't getting the money you want, why in the hell do you think you're going to get it? What could possibly possess you to think you're more valuable than Shaq Barrett? He had 19 and a half sacks. So I just hope that Yannick, for his own sake, I like Yannick Ngakoue. I like his moxie. I like his take no prisoners attitude. I like the way he plays football. I like his impact plays. I like a lot about Yannick Ngakoue. And it's not my job to write up his contract, so I don't mean to dumb down what he brings, but let's be real. Let's keep it real. And so this franchise tag, it's damn near offensive how the players take it like they're getting screwed. What are you talking about? As a free agent, this guarantees you, some of you guys would get these numbers that the franchise tag gives you. It would take 2 seasons in true free agency where the owners could all get together and refuse to pay. So, man, the franchise tag is, to me, not near as, penal as they pretend it is.
Speaking of guys with value, may still be able to help an NFL team. There was a lot of rumors circulating in the Twitter sphere the last 24, 48 hours that the Bucs may be interested in bringing in Antonio Brown. Him and Tom Brady seem to have a very good relationship, but it appears as though they're not interested in bringing Brown into the fold in Tampa. But do you think, we haven't had a lot of crazy AB stories in recent months. Is there a possibility that he'll find a home here in 2020?
Well, whether it was by design or just pure luck, there's been a lot happen in the last 4 or 5 months to take the attention off Antonio Brown. And when you're dealing with a national pandemic and you're dealing with social issues in this country, big time and hardcore on both ends for the last 5 months, Antonio Brown's stupid little, dalliances don't seem to carry the kind of weight they did in just the bubble and the vacuum that they occurred in. Not to excuse the things that Antonio Brown has done wrong, but most of what Antonio Brown has done wrong, to me, should be settled in civil court cases, not with NFL discipline. Now, I could be guilty of forgetting every transgression that Antonio Brown has had. But I think that the climate is probably going to, fast track a return to the league for Antonio Brown if someone's willing to have him. Now, I don't think he comes back unscathed. I think at the minimum there's a 2-game NFL punishment or penalty. But of all the teams in the world that make literally no sense, Tampa Bay would be at the top of the list. You have 2 of the top 5 receivers in the game. Adding Antonio Brown is just bound to create a problem more than a solution.
Right. They don't seem like they should be desperate.
No, the Ravens would make sense.
Right.
Right, he's worked out with Lamar. He's worked out with Hollywood Brown, who's his nephew. So that would make sense to me.
All right. And that's all the news is fit to print, Jeff.
Well, and then some.